Okay, we are live. Hello, it's Bill, the Knee Pain Guru. Today is Thursday, July 21st, 2022. Welcome to today. Let's see. The topic we're going to about today is medical sovereignty as related to knee pain. This is part 2 of a series that I have been writing over the past several weeks regarding taking your power back in terms of you have a traumatic injury, you have a significant injury, and what do? How do you do it? How do you wrap your brain around it? And I'm going to share some experiences that I've had, lessons that I've learned over the past 23 years since I blew out my left knee, and what's got me here today. Because when I first injured my knee, I had no indication that I would be doing what I'm doing right now. So hopefully that's going to help someone and in their journey after knee surgery, knee injury, traumatic knee injury, and get them back. And this really applies to any injury. It doesn't necessarily have to be the knee. A lot of people injure their back, their neck, their shoulder, their foot, their hips, and it applies to all of those different situations. So if you have questions, please type those in the live chat. We will address those. And then also, if you're watching the replay, type those in the comments section as I use these for future videos, the comments that are put in here for future videos. So I'm going to go in here and share my screen. So we're going to go over to let's see. Your screen, share. And now we're heading over to the Knee Pain Guru website, and you have the article that I'm going to cover that I have written. Oh, let me change this up here. And we're going to zip over here now. Okay, so medical sovereignty is related to knee pain part 2. If you haven't already checked it out, and I have the video recording for that as well, you can check that out right here. Medical sovereignty is related to knee pain part 1, and it's kind of the intro to it. When I first started writing this, I didn't realize what a deep rabbit hole I was going to be going down in this process. It's quite extensive. Anyways, so I suppose we should recap quickly part 1. That might be a good thing to do at this point. So we'll do that. And while we're waiting for my screen to come up, if you have any questions about your knees, your knee pain, your doctor's diagnosis, physical therapy, exercise, whatever that is around your knees, please feel free to type that in the live chat, and I will address that before we end this call. So this is the Knee Pain Guru main page. And medical sovereignty is related to knee pain part 1. And, you're choosing not to be a victim in the process, moving the mentality you have from being a victim to being a hero in the process. And then digging into more medical sovereignty is related to knee pain, kind of my own personal experience in here. And then we move on over to part 2, realizing how my view of the conventional medical model and how I approached healing my knee was clouded by a previous experience I had. That I guess 3 things I could always count on when I'm challenged, when I have some significant medical challenge. I have resistance when someone is telling me I can't do something. So someone says, no, you can never bend your knee fully again, or that's just how it's going to be. You're going to get arthritis when you get older, or uh, some of the other things. Oh, Dr. Ellis said, oh, your knee will never be the same again. And so I have this resistance when people telling me I have a limitation or I can't do something. That's the first thing. The second is I always want to figure things out for me, meaning I want to understand it on a fundamental level. It's got to make sense. It's got to land on some level. So it's like, you know, someone just telling me my knee my heel will never touch my butt again. I just can't accept that. So I need to figure out, well, why can't my heel touch my butt? What is the mechanism that's going on that's preventing my knee or my heel from touching my butt? I need to figure that out. I need to figure out why my knee was stiff and swelling and why the scar was only sweating where I had the ACL reconstruction. Understanding the body on a deeper level. And that was really a big part of my process. And this ties into the last point, which is I always believed there had to be a better way for my body to heal. That although the doctor did the ACL reconstruction, my knee was good. As far as the conventional medical model went, and according to the physical therapy, the left leg was within 80% of the strength of the right leg. I couldn't accept that I was still limping and I had difficulty kneeling and I was fatigued when I'd wake up in the morning because I didn't sleep well the night before. I believe there had to be a better way. So that is those things that I can always count on when I'm challenged with something physical in my life. So I look back at how my viewpoint was clouded in terms of the conventional medical model. And it took me back to a car accident that I had in the summer of 1993. I shattered the windshield with my face. And the car was totaled. I had a full-blown concussion, nausea, vomiting. I closed my eyes and I would fall over. And I was left, because the car was only a year or two old at the time, I was relegated to move back with my parents at the time, move back home with my parents, and then was dealing with insurance companies to figure out how I was going to be compensated for my injuries. And there were challenges that I was running into that just seemed absolutely asinine, meaning that it was like, okay, well, this is what the insurance company and my parents and the doctors are saying I need to do. And this is what my gut is telling me to do. And I had this disconnect between the two. One was the insurance money game for reimbursement for my total car. Okay, I needed to provide pictures of the vehicle and the police report and all of those kind of things to send into the insurance company. That was one of the first pieces I needed to do. The second was going to the doctors, and I got the initial MRI for my head and my neck after the injury, and they were saying I had a concussion. There wasn't anything else wrong, and there's nothing they could do. And I felt absolutely awful. Like I said, there was nausea, there was vomiting. If I stood up and I closed my eyes, the room would spin and I'd fall over. And something didn't feel right. So I would go to the doctors to kind of get a better understanding. Like, there's got to be something you can do. So understanding that there was this trauma that happened in my brain, but there was something physical that felt like it needed to be done. So I was doing this dance between what the Western medical model wanted me to do to get money back from the insurance company and what on a gut level I was like, nah, there's got to be something else that I could speed up this process. And of course, the conventional medical model was looking at being on prescription medication and going to a physical therapist, only to continue to suffer with these waves of nausea and vomiting from the concussion. So I ended up getting a hold of a vehicle and I drove to Toledo, Ohio, which is where I was going to college at the time, and went to see a Dr. David DiPaolo, who was a chiropractor that in a 45-minute chiropractic appointment adjusted some things in my neck that the nausea and vomiting went away almost immediately. Now, there was some healing time after that, but it felt like Dr. DiPaolo was able to get me over the hump that my body was now able to heal itself. So I had found, and this wasn't the first time, there was other instances that I had found that there was a natural approach, a holistic approach that was able to help me more than what the docs were telling me for my injury. So then I dislocate my left knee skiing, and that was the first time I had ever experienced a tear or a joint issue that wasn't going to be healed on its own. So I was kind of caught in this conundrum between this distrust of the medical model and wanting to heal it naturally, and the fact that there was a component of the conventional medical model that needed to be brought into the equation in order for my knee and my body to be able to get to a place to be able to heal. So I had to set aside that mistrust of the medical model in order to get the help that I needed so my body can get back to where it is today. And that is really looking at the landscape of what's going on in your body and what is the outcome that you want or that I wanted, and looking at all of the different, essentially the path that would lead me to a place where my body could truly heal what was going on. And this is that process of the medical sovereignty, that there is value in both the conventional medical model as well as a holistic approach, and using it as an integrated way of finding that path. And I was outlining some of the other sources that you want to take into consideration, not only the conventional medical model, but also possibly Chinese medicine or homeopathy or osteopathy, herbalism, massage, energy work. There's a lot of different things that can be extremely helpful for your path to healing to emerge. I went into a little bit about why polar opposites are bad. And I see a lot of people in the process that are unnecessarily stuck in pain. They either believe in the conventional medical model has all of the answers, like that's it. Conventional medical model has all the answers. For instance, my father, he believes absolutely everything the doctor tells him. And as a result, he's now in double digits in terms of the number of surgeries he's had over the past decade. And this is not to mention his pill organizer. And he needs to keep his prescription drugs organized. In this case, it's a nightmare. And he's still really complaining about the same issues he had before he started getting surgeries. So it's important. We got to take a step back and go, there's more than just this conventional medical model. And then on the other hand, and I live in the Asheville, North Carolina area, so there's a lot of alternative thinkers around here, and there are some that are violently opposed to doctors. That it's like if it's The conventional medical model, they want to have nothing to do with it. And they will go to practitioner to find out what's wrong with their knee without ever going to a doctor to get a diagnosis. So they don't really know what they're dealing with. And when sometimes it's a simple MRI, that they will know exactly how to develop a strategy to heal their knee. And this is where I found myself somewhat stuck in after 4 knee dislocations. I was just kind of ignoring it altogether. And then I finally went to the conventional, went to Dr. Ellis at the University of Louisville in Kentucky. And he was able to indicate that I had tore the ligament in my left knee. Then the wheels were able to touch the ground. I was able to move forward in terms of helping myself and developing a strategy to this process of medical sovereignty. So it's definitely a road less traveled. I think more and more as the events over the past 2 to 3 years unfold, and the mistrust of the conventional medical model is gaining some momentum, understanding that not all doctors are created equal, and we need to be very selective, not go on what necessarily a doctor or physical therapist says is the be all end all for what's going on with our knee, that we need to take their information, their professional opinion, also known as a diagnosis, into account to find out what's best for a particular knee situation, which includes exploring all options available, not only from the conventional medical approach, but also a holistic approach. You're neither embracing or rejecting the conventional medical model, and it's all about looking at all the options which are available to heal the knee the fastest. And this is where I got this article I think it could develop into a book, actually, as detailed as it is. However, that's where we got for today. But I'm going to scoot on over to the live chat right now. Stop the but that was a lot of information is unfolding in terms of, you get a knee injury and you think it's like, okay, well, I'll just go to the doctor, drug shot, surgery, physical therapy, I'll be back to normal. Many people are stuck suffering in pain for an extended period of time. Many people are weeks, months, even years, sometimes even decades. People are looking back at their knee injury and going, oh, I still have that problem. My knee doesn't work the same as it did before. And this is where, when we have that integrated approach, what I refer to as medical sovereignty, pulling all of that information in to develop a real solid strategy as to what's going to make the biggest difference for the knee. So if you have questions, welcome all those from the different platforms we are streaming live today on. If you have questions and you would like to ask them, you can type those in the live chat. For those watching the replay, please type those in as well. I use those on future videos. Please give the video a thumbs up. Like and subscribe to the channel, the Knee Pain Guru channel, and turn on notifications for future videos. So let me get over to some of the questions that have been sent in. Let's see here. Give me just a minute. And you're going to go over to, let's see, comments here. If you have any comments, please type those in the live chat. We'll get to those in just a minute. About your knees, knee pain, your doctor's diagnosis, whatever might be going on. I had a client yesterday here in the Asheville area. She was from out of the country, so there was a translator involved, which was an interesting experience. I've done it before. It's been a while, but it's interesting. People in different languages will have the same pattern. Humans in general, they many times will resist the things that are actually going to help them feel better. And so here we go. Questions. Okay, this was from YouTube. This was on a video that I recorded a while ago, how to tighten up weak ligaments in the knee. From Lima, Malcolm said, I had this injury back in 2017. I landed badly on my left leg and my knee buckled. Till today, I can't do soccer because each time I play and want to make a turn, it buckles. Or if I land on my left leg, how can I strengthen it? Okay, this ties in with our call today, the medical sovereignty piece. This is a similar mistake I was making. Landing badly on the left leg and the knee buckled, can't do soccer because each time I play and want to make a turn, it buckles, or if I land on the left leg. So this is we want to make sure what we're dealing with. And this is what I was talking about, one extreme where it's trying to find things without getting a solid diagnosis or without looking at the conventional medical model in order to understand what we're dealing with. So in this case, the knee could be buckling as a result of the ligament being torn, or there's something going on with the meniscus. We don't know because there hasn't been information from the conventional medical model that can shed some insight as to what Lima is dealing with. So getting an MRI, getting a doctor's diagnosis, getting a Lachman's test, LACHMAN''S, a Lachman's test is a test that the medical model does to check that the ligaments in the knee are still intact. If there is something we know that's torn or find out from having a Lachman's test, now we can know that that's the reason for the buckling in the knee. That's what Dr. Ellis diagnosed on my knee, was that there was the ACL, the ligament in my left knee wasn't intact, and no matter what I was going to do holistically, no matter whatever I put on the knee, that ligament was still torn and it needed to be repaired. So the more information we can gather, and at this point we need to gather information to determine if something is broken or torn in the knee so that Lima can move forward with a solid strategy to help what's going on with the knee. If that makes sense, give the video a thumbs up, like and subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications for future videos. And I share this information because I got a couple of decades worth of experience of my own knee injury, working with thousands of clients over that period of time. So I see themes of what's going on, where people get stuck, and a lot of times you can get unstuck and move yourself forward pretty easily. Put your questions in the live chat, and we're going to dig on over into other questions that were sent in. Let's see. There's a bone-on-bone question. No, 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 no. That's not a bone on bone question. Okay. Here's that one. Okay. Let's go over to there's a question here from their username is D. This was on YouTube. It says, it hurts when I walk a little. Okay. That's problematic. It hurts when you walk a little. The more information you could share, the better. It hurts when you walk a little. There's 1,000 questions that come into my mind. Left knee, right knee. Did it just come on? Was it a result of an injury? Have you gone to the doctor? Have you had surgery on the knee? Those are just like initial off the top questions that's going to help me understand where we kind of guide the ship. Because if you just say, well, it hurts when I walk a little, that doesn't tell me a whole lot. And then from there, once we gather some of that information, we can begin to zero in on, does it hurt when you step, when there's pressure, or does it hurt when you're pushing off? Like the leg's in extension or the leg is in compression. Does it hurt when you go up steps or down steps? Does it hurt when you're sitting, when you're standing, when you're lying down? All of those are different tension patterns that the body will display that'll give us an idea of what pattern is going on in your knee, in your legs, in your body that we could begin addressing to help you get out of pain. And if you'd like more support, like I provide support, this is my day job. You're welcome to give us a call on the toll-free number 877-891-9484. And you can also head on over to the kneepainguru.com website and sign up for the newsletter. I send out emails on a regular basis that it's about shifting your mindset. Because many times people continue to be in pain, not because they want to be in pain, but because they don't know any better. And they continue doing the same things because that's the only options they see in front of them. I'm here to offer another option of a holistic approach that you can do in the comfort of your own home to get yourself out of pain and then get on with your life. Tools that you can use no matter where you're at or what you're doing that can begin relieving the pain in your knee. So you can head on over, reach out to us in the information that is scrolling down at the bottom of the screen, or you can go down in the description below of this video and you can get that information. Okay, more questions. This is from my sister's keeper. Hello, it's been 3 years and my knee is still progressing. Quads need to get stronger. Any suggestions? Well, if you're just strengthening your quads, and that's the reason why your knees are in pain, then strengthening your quads, leg extensions are a great activity for strengthening your quads. My question is that the reason why your knee still hurts? If you've been doing something, the same thing for 3 years, and your quads are still weak, then it may be something else. There may be another pattern going on in your knee, in your leg, in your body that is contributing to the pain that you're experiencing. And that's the reason why your knee isn't getting better. For instance, I've worked with professional athletes, and a lot of times they'll show up and they can squat hundreds and hundreds of pounds, 300, 400, 500 pounds, and their knee is still in pain. So it's not a function of the leg being weak. Their legs aren't weak. So continuing to strengthen a joint that's in pain is not going to get the joint out of pain. This is like, a splash of cold water, that there's so many people that are suffering with knee pain that it's in their mind that the muscles in their leg are weak somehow. And I'm here to offer that instead of raising the bridge, let's lower the river. That there isn't something that's weak, there's something else that's too tight. There is muscles in your leg, in your knee, in your leg, in your body that are too tight, that needs to be relaxed. When we relax those muscles that are too tight, now the body can come into balance and the knee pain goes away. Not because we strengthened anything, but because we relaxed something. So it's a shift in mentality. It's a shift in our approach so we can get better results in a shorter period of time with a fraction of the effort that we've been using to get the knee out of pain. If that makes sense, give the video a thumbs up, like and subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications for future videos. If you got questions, type those in the live chat and we will address those shortly. I do have a hard stop today at probably in about 10 minutes. Yeah, 10 minutes, because I have my knee club call. I have a group coaching program that I do twice per week on Mondays and Thursdays. And that's where we go into the specifics, meaning like, where does your knee hurt? Does it hurt in the kneecap, inside the knee, outside the knee, above the knee, below the knee? And I would give you specific videos in a members area of my website that would teach you how to get the pressure off of the nerves in the knee causing the pain, that you could then implement right away and begin getting relief. And of course, that's somewhat of an oversimplification of the process, because we have to change our mindset about that whole approach. It's not just about getting the knee out of pain. It's important to understand that it's a pattern that's been going on for a period of time that has put the tension pattern in the body in a way where the pressure goes to the knee that's causing the pain that you're experiencing. So we need to take a step back and undo that process to make sure you get long-lasting results. You create longevity and sustainability in your joint. Meaning, like, if you've got arthritis, or you're dealing with bone on bone, or you've had knee pain for an extended period of time, that this, we have to realize this has changed. That chronic pain for an extended period of time changes how you think, how you feel, and how you move. So it's not just about getting the knee out of pain. We have to look at the landscape of what's going on that's creating the problem to begin with, so we can get the knee out of pain, and then we can set up the conditions so the body's going to be able to heal what's going on. Okay, Scott writes here. Let me share Scott's. Scott typed in, X-ray shows right inside of left knee is bone on bone. Right. So there's an imbalance of tension that's going on in the knee. Think of it like, Scott, our body, there's a concept that I've spoken about. It's called tensegrity structure. It's systems theory, that in order for that spot on the inside of the left knee to wear, so that it's usually there's a arthritis diagnosis before you get to bone on bone, and that there's a tension pattern going on. It could be because of the way you walk. Like there could have been a foot injury or an ankle injury or a hip injury or a back injury that causes us to walk a certain way, that the tension pattern goes to the inside of the knee. You can see this in the wear patterns of your shoes. You can take your shoes, turn them over, and you can see, especially if they're older shoes that you've been wearing for several years, you can see the different wear patterns in the bottom of the shoes. Sometimes there'll be wear patterns just in the heel or on the outside of the shoe or the inside of the shoe. This affects how the balance of tension is going on in the knee. In order to begin to reverse that, we need to reestablish the tension patterns in the knee, um, the hips, the lower back, the ankles and feet. So now the body can come back into balance and those wear patterns begin to balance out. Scott says he needs to walk with a cane. He's had lower back issues since the 1970s. This is exactly what I'm talking about. It's not always in the knee. When this is where this medical sovereignty piece, we take a step back, we look at what's going on, not only in the knee, but in the leg, the hips, the lower back, and we begin to create comfort in those areas, rewiring the tension patterns in the nervous system, and then set up the conditions so the body's going to be able to heal itself. And that's something, Scott, I can definitely help you with. You can, once again, in the description box below, the information is there. You can give us a call on a toll-free number, 877-891-9484. You can also head on over to the Knee Pain Guru website, thekneepainguru.com, and sign up for the newsletter. I have a group coaching program. That's what I got to jump off of here in a little bit to go work with the clients that are in there. And that is in my Knee Club Premium program. Anyhow, Scott, if you have more questions, please type those in the live chat. If anyone else that's watching has questions, you can type those in as well. We'll address those. Let's see. What else do we got here? I got a few more questions. From Gelza. Searching for my knee problem, then I saw your video from 4 years ago on YouTube. Okay, that isn't a... They're just saying they have a knee problem. And this is kind of like the question from D a little bit ago. It says it hurts a little when I walk. I just need more information. There's not enough to go on if we're just looking at let's see here. If you just say your knee hurts, there's not a whole lot to go on. I need more information. Like I was talking with Scott, or communicating with Scott here, that when the knee has a bone-on-bone situation, it's just wearing on the inside of the knee, there's a pattern that's going on. Think of it like a sailboat. If the sail is pulled tight, the tension is balanced in the sail, and the wind is going to catch it just right, and the sailboat's going to go. But if the sail only goes halfway up, then the sail's going to flap, and it's eventually going to start to fray the sail. And the ropes aren't going to be as tight as they need to be. And it just creates problems. So that's what we're looking at, like with an Osgood Slaughter situation. And then I'm going by what Scott's telling me. He had Osgood Slaughters in the 60s. He had lower back pain in the 70s. And now he has this bone-on-bone situation right now. So there's this progression of things it's like the sail. It only goes up halfway. Initially, the sail's going to be okay because the sail is new. But the more you sail the boat and the more the wind starts flapping the sail, it's going to start to fray the sail. It's going to wear unevenly on the ropes. This is what happens when the balance of tension in the body isn't what it's supposed to be. Scott's also saying hips freeze. There we go. Hips freeze after walking. So now we're looking at, we start to get a bigger picture. We start to get the roadmap of what's going on in Scott's body. we have the Osgood-Schlatters in the knee, we have lower back pain, the hips are freezing after walking. So there's this tension pattern the body is binding down on as a result of what he's been dealing with for an extended period of time. When we begin to introduce comfort into this equation, when we begin to rewire the neurology in the knees, the hips, the lower back, the legs, in the entire body, and his body begins to understand what comfort is again, while we're setting up the conditions so the body can heal. Once we've created this comfort, now Scott starts having this different experience of his hips, of his knees, of his lower back. And comfort begets comfort. So the more we focus on comfort, the more we can create comfort. So his mind and his body begins to look for more comfort to create in and of itself. So now that becomes the baseline. Instead of pain being a baseline, now we establish a different baseline of initially reduced pain. Now more of an awareness of what is comfortable and what is not so comfortable. So Scott ran track back in the 60s. That's awesome. So, yes. So if Scott has more questions or like to contribute more, please type those in the comments section. And I got one more question here I want to address. Okay. Says, is there anything, Maria writes in, is anything I do to improve my balance? My knees are throwing me off pretty badly. Okay. Balance. A lot of times the balance is a result of tension in the pelvis. Because in order to adjust, the adjustment takes place in the hips, takes place in the pelvis. And if we have this tension pattern in our legs, because whenever there's pain in the knees, the legs want to stiffen up. They want to straighten. We don't feel comfortable bending them. So the legs lock more, which means the pelvis and the hips and the lower back lock more. Which means if we go to fall, the legs are stiff. We don't have the ability to adjust, to have that nuance in our movement to compensate for the tension that has been built up in the hips. So the more we can relax the tension in the legs, the knees, the hips, the lower back, we have more flexibility to compensate when we walk on uneven ground or we go up steps or down steps. And so the key to balance with what's going on with your knees, Maria, is we want to make sure we loosen up the tension patterns that are in the pelvis. And that is absolutely something I can help with. So we will address that, based on you joining the program, like Knee Club, the Knee Club program, Knee Club Premium. That's where I get in specifically, and there's 3 modules I'm thinking of specifically, modules 9, 10, and 11, that in the pain pattern interrupt section that would address the tension in the hips, that would loosen up the hips to be able to get you more flexibility and mobility. So those were all of the questions that came in. And those were all the questions that were shared. Thank you, Scott, for contributing. If you're watching the replay and would like to type in your questions, please do so. I will use those on future videos. We're going to have another, medical sovereignty as it relates to knee pain, part 3, because there's a further down the rabbit hole we're going to go in terms of understanding what's going on with this whole process of taking back your power, making choices, looking at the landscape of what's going on in your body to really make the best decision to, one, get yourself out of pain the fastest, and then get your life the way you want it to look, as far as your flexibility and mobility and strength and all of that kind of good stuff. And you want more information, head on over to the kneepainguru.com website. Give us a call or shoot us a text on our toll-free number, 877-891-9484. And we will dig in more. One quick question that came in: do I believe in magnetic healing? Possibly. I think not all magnetic healing is created equal. So we need to get more specific on exactly what that magnetic healing is. I think magnets are very valuable. Our body is an electrical system. Magnets have an effect on the electrical system, so we can pull our body back into balance based on understanding the magnets. There's different types of magnets. It's a little bit of the question on a certain level is somewhat vague, and that's where we would need to gather more information. The more specific we can get as to the types of magnets you're looking at, absolutely, I believe that the body can heal itself a lot of different ways. We just need to understand as much as we can about it and how we can pull the body back into balance using either understanding the neurology on a deeper level, addressing tension patterns in the physical body. So there's a lot of things. World evolution continues here. I mean, hand healers, this can get down a rabbit hole of quantum physics real quick. But anytime we interact with another person, there is an effect. And what we're looking for in our interaction with another person, the state of their neurology is going to directly affect the state of our neurology. Meaning, if a person is more calm and we interact with them, it's going to drop the tension in our nervous system, and we will find more comfort in our own being around that other person. In the same respect, if another person is kind of irritated and amped up, and we're in that other person's energy field, magnetic field, that it can actually irritate our nervous system as well. So we can leave the presence of that person feeling worse. So the more aware we are of what's going on in our own body, and this is part of the medical sovereignty conversation, the more we're aware of what makes us feel good is going to allow us, when we interact with another person, to either calm us or irritate us. And then we have the choice at that point, when we go, oh, this person is irritating me, that we don't have the concern of walking away from them because they're not making us feel better. The social stigma of offending them. In the same respect, if a person is calming, it's like we naturally gravitate to them because our nervous system drops as a result of our interaction or watching a video or whatever the case may be. So hopefully, world evolution, that is helpful. Gerasimos, good to see you. He was a client a long time ago that's is now doing very well. He's a martial artist, so he had a special place in my heart because he was a martial artist. So awesome. Thank you. I'm glad things are going so well for you. And World Evolution Rights. Okay, I understand, Bill. Thank you. Okay, I got to scoot. I got my group coaching program, NEAT Club. If you want to join, you're absolutely welcome. There's the links down below in the description box. The NEAT Club Premium is the one where we interact and I give you specific things to help you with your knees. There's a lot of things we can do in terms of getting you out of pain. So if you need help, please reach out. And I thank you all for participating today. The questions were great. I'm grateful that this is what I get to do, help people out of knee pain. So it's awesome. Okay, great. Thank you so much. This is Bill Paravano, the Knee Pain Guru, going to sign off for today. Have a wonderful day, and we will see you on the next one.